This movie begins in a prison where we meet the main character, Arthur, also known as the Joker. He is weak because he isn't given enough food or water. We soon learn why Arthur, or Joker, is in prison. He had killed 5 people in public, and that's why he was punished. Even though he committed these murders, the way he did it made him famous. At that time, he dressed as the Joker, complete with makeup and a clown suit. This look made him so well known that a TV movie was made about him. Many people enjoyed the TV movie and became fans of the Joker. People know through the movie that Arthur killed those people in self-defense and is innocent. They believe that Arthur is innocent and think he did the right thing by killing those 5 people because they were bad people who mistreated him. They constantly bullied and mocked Arthur, pushing him to the point where he fought back. However, while some people see Arthur as a hero, others view him as a criminal because he took lives, which is a crime. Arthur has been in jail for a long time and doesn't know how many more years he will be kept there. His trial hasn't even started, so he has no idea when he might be released. Arthur finds no peace, either inside or outside prison. He feels troubled because people always mocked and bullied him, and now even the police in jail treat him poorly. He is mistreated at the jail every day, and his life is no less than a misery. One day, Arthur's lawyer calls him for a meeting, so he goes to see him. On his way, he notices a girl who catches his eye, and she stares back at him. The girl makes a gesture with her hand as if she's aiming a shotgun at him. Her name is Lee. Before anything more can happen, the police take Arthur away. Arthur meets with his lawyer, who is working on his case but is also using his fame to his advantage. Arthur's name is everywhere, and everyone is talking about him. Taking advantage of Arthur's fame, the lawyer brings some reporters to interview him. She tells Arthur that they will ask him a few questions, and he needs to talk about himself. Although Arthur doesn't like reporters, he agrees to the interview because he wants to get out of jail. During the interview, Arthur is asked questions that make him uncomfortable. He answers them, but inside, he feels angry because it brings back painful memories. Despite his anger, he answers truthfully. The real purpose of the interview is to observe Arthur's mental state. Daily interviews are planned to see if he is getting better, as many believe Arthur is insane, a mad joker who killed 5 people in a fit of madness. After the interview, Arthur is taken back to jail, but a police officer escorts him to a music room where inmates are playing. There, Arthur sees the girl named Lee again, and they finally meet face to face. Both are thrilled because they've wanted to see each other since their first encounter. Arthur asks why Lee is in jail, and she explains that she set fire to the building she lived in with her mother out of anger, which led to her mother's death. That's why she was punished and sent to jail. Arthur laughs loudly, as is his habit. Lee then asks why he's there, and Arthur responds. Surprised she doesn't know. He tells her he is there for killing 5 people and is being punished for it. Over time, Arthur and Lee become close friends. One day, Lee suggests they escape together, but Arthur refuses, fearing the police will shoot them. Secretly, Lee has developed feelings for Arthur and wants to run away and live a life with him. Arthur's refusal hurts her, and one day, while they sit in the theater, Lee acts out her anger by setting a small fire at the back of the room. As people panic and run, the theater empties, leaving only Arthur and Lee behind. They don't flee. Instead, they share their feelings and confess their love for each other. Eventually, they try to run, but officers catch them and drag them back, laughing together as if they share the same chaotic spirit. Back in his cell, Arthur is soon joined by Lee, thanks to a guard. They spend a year together in jail. Lee expresses her desire to see Arthur as the Joker again and brings makeup to help him transform, which brings them joy. The next day, Arthur's lawyer returns for another interview, bringing a well-known reporter to question him and check his mental state. Arthur doesn't like talking about his past as it disturbs him, but the reporter continues to ask. When they touch on the subject of Arthur killing his mother, he becomes so agitated that his anger shows. Up until then, he had been calm. His sentence is completed, and he's set to go to court. As he leaves, Arthur sees his interview being shown on TV. When Arthur appears in court, his fans gather outside, showing support and hoping for his release. They believe he deserves freedom, as the people he killed were bad and deserved their fate. Arthur spots Lee in the crowd and smiles. During the hearing, the prosecutor accuses Arthur of murdering 5 people on a public train. Arthur's lawyer defends him, explaining that Arthur lived a lonely, tormented life, and only acted out of self-defense due to his childlike mind. The prosecutor insists that regardless of the reasons, Arthur is a murderer and must be punished. The judge postpones the trial, and Arthur's lawyer is warned to improve her defense, or Arthur will be sentenced. Back in jail, Arthur talks to his lawyer, mentioning Lee and saying he trusts her. The lawyer reveals that Lee deceived him. Her parents are alive, and she disguised herself as a prisoner to get close to him. Arthur is stunned when Lee admits the truth but explains she did it because she fell in love with him after watching his TV movie many times. She is determined to free him so they can live a happy life together. At the next court hearing, a neighbor of Arthur's, testifies, saying she often met Arthur's mother and witnessed Arthur's breakdown when he attacked her. Frightened, she left town but returned to support him, believing he was always mistreated. She suggests that the Joker personality inside Arthur, created by society's cruelty, was responsible for the murders. Encouraged by her words, Arthur stands up and announces that he wants to defend himself without a lawyer. Lee feels proud, believing he is making the right choice. On the day of the final trial, Lee stands outside, waiting to hear the Joker's fate. Arthur represents himself as his lawyer and takes on the persona of the Joker, complete with full makeup and attire. He sits confidently as the hearing begins. A lawyer who once worked closely with Arthur appears as a witness. He testifies about knowing Arthur well and explains how Arthur's behavior changes when he becomes the Joker. The witness recounts seeing Arthur kill people on the train as they had both boarded together. Arthur, dressed as the Joker, stands up and questions the witness, asking who he saw during the killings. The witness confirms that he saw Arthur, transformed into the Joker, committing the murders. Hearing this, Arthur loses his temper and accuses the police of corruption. He claims they don't need evidence or witnesses and arrest anyone they want, guilty or not. He argues that if the police had arrived on time that day, things would have been different and he wouldn't have lost control. The judge ends the day's testimony and sets a new date. Back in jail, Arthur faces the wrath of the police for speaking out against them. They severely beat him before locking him in his cell. 2 days later, the trial resumes. This time, Lee attends dressed as the Joker, confident that Arthur will lose. Arthur, wearing the Joker's makeup, looks defeated. He finally confesses, admitting his wrongdoings and expressing his shame. Hearing this, Lee, a supporter of Arthur, storms out of the courtroom in anger, as she doesn't expect him to give up so easily. With Arthur's confession, the case is concluded, and the court prepares to sentence him. Arthur drops his Joker persona and, unexpectedly, starts laughing uncontrollably. The doctor opposing him, enraged by this, attacks him, but Arthur continues to laugh. Suddenly, an explosion occurs, destroying the court. Many are injured, and some lose their lives. Amid the chaos, Arthur escapes and spots a fan dressed as the Joker. The fan recognizes him as the real Joker and helps him into a car to flee the scene. However, the car gets caught in traffic, and Arthur runs off on his own. Arthur runs until he finds Lee and begs her to leave with him to start a new life. He tells her he doesn't understand how the explosion happened and only knows he escaped. Lee coldly responds, saying she once loved a fearless, brave man, not someone who gave up easily. She accuses him of being weak for admitting guilt and says she can't be with a coward. She reveals that she is pregnant with their daughter but refuses to stay with him, as she doesn't want their child to grow up knowing a coward. With that, Lee leaves, leaving Arthur devastated. Arthur stands there, lost and broken, unsure of what to do. The police arrive and arrest him again, taking him back to jail. In jail, an enemy of Arthur's approaches under the guise of friendliness. Once alone, he attacks Arthur with a weapon, causing a severe head injury. Arthur falls to the ground, bleeding and motionless, his eyes closing as if he's dead. And with that, this film comes to an end. Is Arthur Joker dead? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing movie recaps. Thank you.